Alright, good morning everyone. Um, Welcome to this class. Our focus will be on principle of design, and I'll be the instructor. My name is Mayowa Solomon, and I'm a graphic designer with Bad Company, as stated here. There are quite a few principles that guide graphic design, but for the sake of this class, we'll be looking at just 7 of them. So these 7 are like a found the foundation. Like you really need to know these ones at least as a beginner. It's what you need to guide you in order to create professional designs. So let's go straight to the point. The first one is balance. We all know what balance means, but in graphics, your your um your graphics need to have a sense of balance. Now this isn't to say that each side needs to be perfectly symmetrical, but the amount of visual weight on each side should feel cohesive and intentional to create this feeling of balance. What this simply means is you don't want um, any side of your design looking out of place. You know, um, you don't want one side carrying much weight than the other, right? So there should be this feeling of balance to whatever you're designing. Don't let one side feel left out, like empty or just not in sync with another side. You understand? And there are two ways to keep balance. There is a symmetrical one, which is this one on the left, right here, right? The weight can be perfectly equal, and then there is the asymmetrical one. It doesn't have to be perfectly equal, but at least there is a feel of balance to it. One part is not left out. You understand now? So these are ways you can balance your design. Now there is proximity. um Proximity is when you group related items together so that it is visually clear they are related. This helps create organization within your graphics, which causes information to be remembered more easily. Now, as humans, our brains love organization. So when a graphics is organized appropriately, it's both visually appealing and easier to consume, right? So, as much as possible, you want to make your design organized, and one way to do this, or one way to achieve this, is by using proximity. You group items that are related together. Let me give you an example. Let's say you want to design an event flyer now. Now, for proximity, you have to group things like dates, venue, and time in places where it is easy for your viewers or your audience to know. Okay, this is where this is supposed to be, right? Like you don't want to put, let's say, the time of the event somewhere at the top, and then you go to the footer of the design, and then you put date. You go to the left side of the design and you put venue. It's kind of disorganized, and the brain has will have a hard time like trying to put the whole thing together. So as much as possible, whatever is related on your design, let them be in one place. You understand now? This helps a lot with the organization of your design. Look at this example here. You can see things that are related are at the top. Let's say images now. Or let me give you this example. If you go to your website, right, the first thing at the top, mostly at the top, is your header. And what are the content in this header? You see things like home, links, things like our services, all those things. They are related. They are links that can direct you to other part of the website. Those are what you call the header. They are usually grouped together. Then you come to the body. The body is where you have things that are related about that particular page. That's where you find the heading. Then the footer is where you find all these about us, contact us, um, things like uh, let me see now. Yeah, those are basically things you will find there about us. So anything that is related on your design, make sure they are grouped in the same space. So now, for graphics, I mentioned earlier, things like date, time, um let me see again, venue. They are usually, if you look at any flyer, they are usually in the same space, the same area, even if they are not that close, but at least you see them in the same space, right? So that's how proximity can help in making your design organized and not just scattered anyhow. All right, so we move to alignment, which is the third one. Every design element placed in your graphic should be visually aligned to something else on the page, whether that is the side of the page, the edge of an image, the text that is above it, etc. Nothing should be placed arbitrarily on the page. Now, what this means is you don't want your design just floating around. You understand now? You don't want, um, I don't know. When I was doing this presentation the other day, which is on Sunday, during the practical, Mr. Ikene uh, did upload it, some of example of the bad designs, right? And in one of those designs, one was so bad that you won't even know where to start from. Like you don't even know where to start from. Everything was just everywhere. Everything was busy. You understand now? This is the problem when you don't follow principles of design, right? Alignment helps a lot. Don't leave any element on your design floating around like absurdly. Like let it be anchored to something, right? On your page. Align it to something, right? So nothing should be placed anyhow on your page. Just make sure it is um, anchored onto something. This principle is very very important and helpful if you're going to be doing let's say um, what's it called now? Um, Now there are ways to align elements on a design. These are the basics one. The basic one. You have the left aligned, the center aligned, and the right aligned. There are other ways to align elements on your design, but for basics, these are the three you have to do, and it's very important, right? I'll show you examples or ways this is implemented on a design. Now look at this first one here. If you look at it very well, you see that the text on this design are both are all center aligned, even the images. This if you look at this pure, the shape around it, the shape there, it is center aligned too with all the text. This image, this small element here, too is center aligned. Even these two, they were grouped together and then center aligned. Then this one here is center aligned too, right? So that's an example of a center aligned design. It is organized. Chocolate is not on the left side. Indulge is not somewhere on the top right corner. Decadence is not somewhere on the bottom left. You understand now? Everything is just there is synergy in this design. Now look at the second example here. We have land at the top here. Now if you come to the left at the bottom here, you have Pioneer of Change, Governors Island, New York, September. Now these two tests, they are left aligned. Then they are both left aligned with the main test, which is land again. If you check, they are all on the left, and one is not going an inch beyond the other one. You understand? And they are both left aligned and on a straight line. Then if you look at the right side here, you have Governor's Island and the smaller test there. Also, they are both aligned with the main text, which is the land. They are right aligned. If you look at that, this is right aligned, right? So can you see it? They are right aligned. Why for the one on the left, which is this left aligned, they are aligned with the main text on the left. Now again, that's why I came in when I said there are other ways to align too. Look at this Pioneer of Change. 11 officers house at Lonans Park and Governor's Island. If you look at it very well, at the top, they are aligned at the top too. One is not going above the other, even by an inch. You understand that they are all straight aligned at the top. Then the one at the bottom, the text here, this, and the governor's island, they are also both top aligned. You understand now? Even these 11 officers house are the one at the bottom, they are left aligned. So there is organization, there is this sense of organization on this thing, of this design, right? There is organization. You understand now? Good. Now move to the next one, repetition. For repetition, repeating certain characteristics like font, colors, layouts, and design elements, it's within your design will keep the design unified and cohesive. Repetition creates a visual theme that creates this unification and consistency. Now, this principle is very important if you're going to be doing brand identity designs. It is one way to create recognizable design. If you look at this example now, they made use of three colors, right? Now, if you look at each of there are three design stuffs here. There's a letter here, there's an envelope, and there is something that looks like an invitation card or an ID card, whatever that is. Now, if you notice, they made use of the three colors on each of them. They repeated colors. Then elements, they repeated this particular design element on the three of them, right? So that is what you call repetition in design. It creates this feeling of consistency, right? And there is cohesion, like there is synergy. This form of synergy, this is what our brain loves, right? The brain scans through design. Sometimes most people don't even read; they just scan through. I think Mr. Kenny mentioned that on Sunday too, right? So if you notice, there's this feeling of repetition. I don't know if you notice on brand materials, you will have come across them. There is this form of repetition in those design. Their colors is consistent. Any element they have on it is consistent, right? So it helps a lot. It helps your audience remember what you're doing or remember what it is your design is about. You don't have to like, okay, what is this about? What is this about? They know who this design belongs to once they see it. You understand now? So this helps a lot in your design. This feeling of repetition. So you can do this repetition. You can use it. You can either use color. You can use color as it is said here. You can use color. You can use font. You can repeat font in your design. That is another point. Most of your design don't even need more than 2-3 fonts. Once you're having more than 3 fonts, the design start looking um, anyhow, right? So it is important to like keep to at least at most 3 fonts at most. Colors too. You don't have to have multiple colors on your design. Just pick like 2-3 colors, and then you keep to it, and then you keep repeating on those designs. Just like design elements, you look at this element, this particular small element, a circle with a form of rectangle on top of it. They repeated it on all the 3 designs. That's how you use repetition to enhance your design. Now let's go at contrast. If 2 elements are not exactly the same, make them different, and in most cases make them really different, honestly, because it brings out this feeling of let's see, it helps highlight differences or add a focal point by using opposing colors, shapes, or textures. Now, you can use opposing colors to bring out the focal point of your design. Look at this small circle here, right? It's a little different from the bigger one. If I place the smaller one on the big one, you will still see it, right? You will still see either the big one or the small one. But if this small one is also the same color with the bigger one, if I place it on it, you will never see that it's smaller circle. It won't come out. So this is when contrast comes in. Whatever doesn't look alike, make them different. That's the point. So what contrast does, it helps you bring out, or it makes certain element of your design stand out, right, from the rest. If it is your focal point, then it makes it come out. It also creates visual hierarchy, which aids in the organization of your design. Let's look at this example here. They made use of contrast using the color black and white. Now the white was used to create the shape of a fork. Then they use black again to create a shape of a bottle. Can you see how this thing brings out the shapes on your design. Also, even the text, you see, the background is black, but the text was white, right? This is how perfect contrast can help in your design. If you want to use contrast, at least if you want to use color for contrast, there are many ways to use contrast. You can use shape too, but for colors, one way to achieve this, Canva has a tool which they call color wheel, right? If you want to work with a color, you can take that color to that color wheel tool, then you put it in, you insert your color. It is going to generate different complementary colors for you to use with that design. Colors that you think that can go with it, that will create this sense of contrast, right? So that whatever it is you're using it for will come out, it will be the focal point of your design. It creates this hierarchy organization on your design. So that is that with contrast. Now, white space. The areas of your design free of text, graphics, and images is what you call white space. Now, like it says here, contrary to its name, it does not literally have to be white color, right? So it does not have to be a white color, but it is a space in your design that is free of any design elements, either text, graphics, or images. What this does, it makes your design look professional, it makes it look clean and organized, right? The more white space you have, the better your design is. Now, on the day I made the presentation for this design and for these principles of design, someone asked, what if there are too much of white space? The thing is, white space is you can never have enough of it, right? Because the point is, you want to have um you want to have control over your design. You don't want your design to look scattered or out of place. You don't want to have things floating around, no organization or anything. Everything is just like floating the way they like. Now, the more white space you have, the less distractive your design is. The design is just, the focus is on what the design is about, right? You've probably heard of the term less is more. What this simply means in design space is that the less elements you have on your design, the less distractive it is, and the more or the easier it is to pass the intended message across, right? People don't have to be going around on your design because it is too busy, right? The main point is not lost in the sea of all the design elements you have on it. So sometimes, even if you have too much of design, you have to step back and start looking, okay, what is that element on this design that is not supposed to be there, that is causing this distraction, right? You take them out, only leave the important. Most times what you want on your design are the most important thing, which is the message you want to pass across. The moment you start having the other extras on it, the design start looking too much, too busy, too distractive. You understand now? So please, as much as possible, you take them out. Whatever is not necessary on your design, take it out. Now, going back to the question the person asked the other day, if you don't have if the content of your design is too small, or you think the white space is too much, one thing you can do is, for your text and graphics, or the important messages you have on those, one way to manage the white spaces, you can play around with the proportion of those design. You can increase their size, you can increase their position, right? Just to manage the white space. If you feel the white space is too much, but white space is never too much on your design. That's just it. Now, another name for white space is negative space. So like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be white, it can be any color. It's just that it is a space on your design that is free of any element. Now, the last part is hierarchy. Definition of hierarchy is a system of organization in which people or groups are ranked one above the other according to status or authority. Now, hierarchy, when implemented in graphic design, literally creates a path for your eye to move around. Now, one thing about you as a graphic designer is you actually have the power to control how the viewers or the audience consume your design, right? And you can achieve this using color or contrast or proportion. viewers actually, or your audience will usually start with the most dominant feature of your design, then they move to the next dominant one, right? Until they looked over the entire design. So the thing with hierarchy is you can guide your viewers, you can guide viewers where to start from on your design. And this is usually the most dominant feature. Look at this example here. The most dominant one is this, and then they move to the next dominant, which is the smaller one, then they move to the smallest one, right? So that's the thing. They move from the most dominant element of your design to the next until the last part. So you have the power to guide the eyes of your audience through your designs. The power is in your hand. So with that, I think we've come to the end of this class. By now I know you know how to use these principles of design in order to achieve your professional design or your next design. Balance, you know how to balance your design now. Proximity, like I said, group related items together. Alignment, don't leave items floating on your designs, make sure you anchor them to something. It creates organization. um Repetition, yes, I told you can use fonts, colors, or layouts to achieve this. Contrast, yes, color and shape you can use to achieve this, to bring out the focal point of your design. uh, Always important to use complementary colors. And white space, like I said, the less elements you have, the better for your design. Just don't make your design too busy. Hierarchy, yeah, from the most important to the least important elements. I won't say important, I would say what you want them to see most or what you want them to see first. So you guide them through your design using this principle. You understand now? So thank you. We've come to the end of this class.